This episode is brought to you by Upsonder, the easiest way to monetize your drone. With the industry's only $1 million protection coverage free to its members, Upsonder is the top choice among certified drone pilots to get up and stay up. To get started, create your free listing today at upsonder.com. Welcome to commercialdrones.fm, the podcast that explores the commercial drone industry, the people who power it, and the concepts that drive it. I'm your host, Ian Smith. Hey everybody, welcome to Commercial Drones FM. Today I'm here with Sebastian Blum, VP of BD at Dedrone at their office here in San Francisco. So thanks so much for having me here at your office, Sebastian, and thank you for joining us on the show.
Thank you so much. Great to have you.
What is Dedrone?
Wow, what is Dedrone? We do a lot of things, but I think in a nutshell, we kind of help property owners, enterprises, data centers, prisons, kind of like protect against bad guys wanting to use drones for their intentions, whether it's bringing in explosives, guns, smuggling drugs, all that kind of stuff. And, drones are pretty capable, and we kind of help property owners feel more in control of their own airspace and their property. And
you guys are a German company, right?
Well, technically, we are an American company now. We're headquartered here in San Francisco. We're an Inc. incorporated here. If you check out where we are from originally, there's a bunch of Germans in the company. We're pretty, I would say, heterogeneous team in terms of nationalities represented. We've got people from Asia, people from Europe, people from here, Latin America even represented with 2 people. So we're pretty diverse. But yes, a lot of people kind of claim or think that we're German because that's where we were originally founded. And I hope you don't hear a big accent from me. I'm from Germany.
You sound like you're American, basically. I can sense just a little bit. That's it.
The Germans are everywhere.
So, just getting a little bit more to the point. So if I go to your website, there's some stuff where there's like red circles with the cross on it. And then right behind that, it's crossing out a drone. So this show, of course, is Commercial Drones FM, the podcast. We got a lot of people that listen to the show and are commercial drone operators. So how would you describe Dedrone to them? I mean, you guys are keeping, airspace safe from malicious drones, or like every drone? Like, are you guys just like anti-drone people?
No, I think anti-drone is probably a bit misleading. I think certainly we try to take advantage in our collateral marketing material of colors, color coding, and pictures to suggest that we are a security company, and we help people get informed when something happens around their property. And people have put fences up. They have privacy topics they want to protect against. So certainly, yes, one may take away from the color coding and the website that we are anti-drone, but I think we're big drone fans ourselves. A lot of people fly drones in our company. Our founder and one of our founders and CEO, he built a UAV company before. So we're embracing drones. However, the intention of our business is to detect drones and do that for a very specific purpose. And people that come to us, they want to protect against people kind of abusing that technology. And that's why I think, again, compounding anti-drone is a bit too misleading. We want to detect drones and detect them for a good purpose of notifying people and wanting to do something that is not intrusive, not shooting down, that is very soft, alerting them and making them aware that something is flying above their property and heads.
So that's great to learn, because whenever I was reaching out to Lucy actually to schedule this, shout out to Lucy over here, I thought this is going to be controversial. They're kind of anti-drone company and everything, and their marketing kind of seems like it. But then I went to your website, and then I was like, oh, this makes like perfect sense. So thank you for the explanation, and I encourage anyone who's a little curious to go check out the website and really understand. So your product or service, I guess it's kind of both. You guys do hardware and software?
Yes, right now in our product portfolio, we have a mix. We emphasize a lot on our drone tracker platform, which is pure software running on the premise and kind of crunching the data coming from sensors that face up around the property. And in our product portfolio, we also have 2 sensors ourselves, which is a drone tracker that is pretty prominent on our website. It's this white cross that has 3 sensors inside. And We separately have also a tiny box with 2 antennas in the back, which is our software-defined radio frequency sensor. So it's both.
Very cool. So what are kind of like some of the specs on like the hardware or like the detection range? I mean, how far can your technology detect a drone? I mean, what are the limitations here?
Yeah, right. So range is a big question for people always, and I think it's something that needs to be talked about a lot, because at first people always come, look, I want to have detection range of, 20, 30, 40, 50 miles out. They want to get an early alert and a lot of lead time before a drone might enter. But to be honest, look, if I'm like in this building here, right now we are downtown San Francisco in Soma, we're on 7th and Folsom, and if we were to go out, let's say 20, 30 kilometers, we would see a lot of activity potentially that is actually super relevant for what I'm trying to protect against. So kind of, I think, the analogy of the signals to noise ratio is very important here. I don't want the customer to be overwhelmed with noise around, too many drones that are somewhere on the horizon, some dad playing with his son because they just bought a, 3DR Solo or DJI, whatever, and that drone never coming close. So we want to be very respectful in our product, and when security people use it, to be alerted when it's relevant. That's very, very important. Now, relevance comes from in many forms. It comes, yes, I want to have an early detection far out, but trajectory, velocity, direction, that's all very important. Some sensors give me an ability to look out very far, but there's potentially also characteristics involved, like cost of that sensor, scalability. Some sensors may have hazardous aspects to them because they beam out and they send out frequencies. And so compounding, I think the drone tracker platform for our customers is very important, where they can hook into different sensors depending on their requirements, whether they want to look far, whether they want to look close. Cost is always an issue, always.
Yeah.
And so when you look at the software, the software platform is agnostic. We want to give the customer an ability to hook into any sensor. Now, you mentioned our own sensors, the 2 products I mentioned earlier. Mm-hmm. So there we have a strong philosophy around being very cost effective.
Oh, so wait, so you're saying, I want you to finish that, but you're saying, so there's different types of sensors that are out there?
Yeah,
including yours.
Different technologies that people have used to detect things. It's video, it's microphones, sonic, ultrasonic, it's radio frequency scanning. People have used radars in the past, and certainly there will be a lot of progress in technology coming up with these devices and sensors. And we expect a lot of companies to just specifically focus on that. Large companies, multinational companies all over the world that have already, camera technology. There's lots of CCTV camera manufacturers. There's lots of radar companies. There's, here in Silicon Valley, lots of companies that build radio frequency technology, Wi-Fi technology. And all these companies at some point, I think, will jump on this in a more dramatic way. But coming back to the point you asked about our own sensors, and I want to just mention that for a brief minute. So the 2 sensors that we have, depending on the area that we're in, whether we're in an urban area, downtown San Francisco, or we are somewhere far out, let's say in a desert environment where somebody is running, secretive kind of property,
Evil.
Or, Dr. Evil. Let me say as an example, perhaps the Gigafactory, right, of Tesla, which is certainly a property that has high security demand. I mean, these environments are very, very different. And again, dependent on these differences and the needs of the customer, we can connect to different sensors. So I'll keep kind of spinning around here. So let me come back.
I'm fascinated. I'm fascinated because you never hear about this.
We're too. So our own sensors give you a distance depending on the environment, day and night, kind of conditions, weather conditions. Also, when RF is involved, obviously you need to take into account how many other antennas you have and devices sending out frequencies. But we get about roughly, in a combination of these sensors, let's say up to 1 kilometer of a distance of a range. And certainly, I think we are still in the beginning of this evolution of the technology. A lot of R&D money will flow into this, whether it's coming from venture capitalists or big companies. And I think that you will see a lot of progress where people will be able to squeeze out more and more distance and range and precision from existing hardware.
Are you guys venture funded?
Yes, we are.
Okay, cool.
We started out, bootstrapped, like many startups, and we tried to extend that as much as possible so that we, hit the market fundraising with, hopefully product, which we did. And we got our seed round in Germany from a Munich-based venture fund, and then we came here to the US, flipped the company, and we're very proud to have Menlo Ventures as our Series A investor.
Awesome. How much was the Series A?
That was 10 million.
Cool. Oh, awesome. Oh, yeah, you guys have a nice office here. So if I tried to fly a drone outside your office right now, what would happen?
Well, we would pick it up. I don't know if when you came here...
You got the technology involved.
Exactly.
Or installed, rather.
Exactly. If you or your audience, somebody's driving down Folsom Street and you're stopping and approaching 7th Street, just look up a bit to the right. There's a block building and color-coded in black. And at the top rim on the second floor, you see 2 drone trackers facing Folsom and one facing Folsom and 2 7th Street. So yes, we would pick it up. We have started already when we moved in here 1st of July to kind of de-drone San Francisco. And we're checking out a lot of things here. It's interesting to see the activity, even though we're in an urban environment. And, legally speaking, in San Francisco, it's very hard to fly a drone because most of the areas, it's forbidden legally. But we do pick up on activity. It's interesting.
Wow. Okay. So you guys can have so many different kinds of clients. It's pretty... my mind is going 1,000 miles an hour here just trying to think of it. So... okay, what happens? Like, if I fly my drone, like, what do you guys see, or what does the client see? Like, how does this kind of work? I mean, can you pick up, like, can you find my name or my address? Like, what do you know about me, and what happens to my drone if I do fly my drone over here? Like, what could happen? Is it going to fall out of the sky?
Yeah. We know we actually know a lot more about you than that. No, just kidding. So yes, our sensors pick up something. The drone tracker platform kind of crunches and it's trying to find the needle in the haystack from all the things flying around, whether it's birds, leaves, whether it's shadow reflections from sun rays and clouds, whether it's cars on the horizon, because in some areas there might be heavily populated traffic, highways, etc. So from analyzing all that data, we try to find drones by either, the microphone, so the pulsating elements, the sound patterns. Now, okay, that may work really well with a quadcopter, a hexacopter, or, a drone that has, these rotor blades.
They have a very distinct sound signature.
Exactly. But what's important to say, there's drones out there that don't emit sound. There's fixed-wing glider drones. And, even if you are in an environment where there's lots of noise around, that doesn't work. So you can already see from that approach that a single sensor approach doesn't really work 100% well. So then, our camera systems might pick it up. We have an ability to look out with our drone tracker because of the camera unit. And there we kind of match from what we know from patterns in our drone DNA database, where we classify all drones that we see in the market.
So computer vision.
Exactly. We have a great machine learning algorithms in place that, kind of try to pick up and, and increase the ability to much quicker identify these flying objects and distinctively say, look, this is not a jumbo jet on the horizon, which may have the same pixels amount on the system when we recognize it, versus, let's say, a drone that is, just 50, 40, 50, 60 meters away. But again, if you want to do this at night, the camera is not good again. Then you need either a night vision camera, okay, or that's the third sensor, the radio frequency sensor, works really well in that environment, day and night, where we're trying to pick up codes that are flowing around in the air. It's frequencies that we analyze, where we look for steering codes, where we look for telemetry data that drones are sending back to a remote control or to some other unit, or even the camera itself, because drones have a lot of times cameras mounted underneath, and some of them not only store locally that data and on these SD cards, but sometimes in real time they send it back to another place. So there's a lot of stuff you can kind of check out in the air. And in that combination, we then give an alert to the security operations center, where our product is integrated next to other security products of an enterprise. and then things are triggered. Let me say countermeasures may be triggered. But beforehand, you asked something, what can we identify? We can identify the drone, the type, the model. We, in specific cases, can tell you this is a very unique drone. This is a very specific drone that we have seen perhaps in other places, that we have seen recurringly coming in. So it's
a menace to the skies.
Exactly. So we can basically tell our customers a lot more than just, hey, there's something flying above your head, and we're trying to help them build up a lot of analytics around them. And that's going to then trigger different countermeasures that they are defining themselves.
Yes, what happens to the drone? I mean, is it automatically shot out of the sky from? I mean, I guess it depends on the client, right? I think that's what you're alluding to there.
Yeah, I think that's a stereotype kind of thinking, right? Can I take it down because I fear? On a general level, I think the drone industry is incredibly amazing, and we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg. But you pretty much have two camps, right? Either people that love it fantastically well, they want to have drones, they want to fly it, or on the other side, people that fear it massively. And I think, naturally speaking, it's something above us, right? It's like in that movie Birds from Alfred Hitchcock that, we're paranoid about what's happening because we don't have eyes on top of our head nor in the back. So it's this like evil thing that might be above our heads where we're like, who is that? And what are they doing? So people naturally have a tendency to say, like, let me shoot it down. But the problem is that in many countries here in the US and in Europe and many countries and elsewhere as well, it is legally not allowed to shoot something down, and it's not legally allowed to also interfere with radio communication that would then perhaps trigger it to go down. So
yes,
we are
endangering something on the surface.
Exactly. So we are kind of like in this limbo mode still from a regulatory perspective, where regulatory bodies are still evaluating and trying to formulate rules in place. But again, it comes back to our product pitch, and that's why I think we are, there to help make it a safer world right now, where property owners, facility managers, security managers say, look, I don't want to wait until DC or somebody else comes up with rules. I want to be in control, and I at least want to have detection in place and a system where I feel safer and I know what's going on around me.
Do you guys own the airspace above your building?
Oh my goodness, you're asking me a difficult question, and again, I should put on my German accent now, so that I'm not super familiar with the current lawmaking, but I believe we're not in. It's not our property, and thus I cannot interfere with anything happening above me. There's certainly probably gray zones if I feel that there's potentially live at stake, then certainly depending on legislation, and I think probably in the U.S. it's different very much from state to state. I'm in a position to do something, but again, we are as a company not trying to propagate, hey, here's a system that detects and shoots down, right? We are a company that's focusing a lot on detection. We give a lot of ability for security managers to then assess the risk, and with functions like triangulation that we're giving to our customers, where we're telling them, look, the remote control and the pilot is in close by, and we can give the position. They can send out a security operations person to go and find that person. So we're trying to give a lot of things that are not interfering massively, and doing something that has big consequences which is in fact when you try to shoot something down.
What about any recent use cases or specific scenarios where your technology was deployed? Can you share any stories about that?
Yeah, I can tell you tons. And look, I mean, we're very excited because as a company, the technology has a demand from any sort of vertical. Anybody who has a fence is in need of an aerial equivalent, because that investment in a fence is kind of toast with drones coming in. So yes, our case studies are quite diverse. We can't talk about every installation because obviously we're in the security business, and people want to protect something. So, but there's a couple of things we can talk about. So first, let me start off. Prisons are great customers, and have been first customers of ours. They have had the problem that people try to deliver goods to the inmates and to the sales. Yeah. And
drugs and weapons, cell phones,
everything,
all goods.
cocaine, and
It's all good.
even things like charging units for mobile phones. And when one of our prison customers, we had intense conversations when we came up with a product proposal, because we tried to learn from our customers, how we should tweak the product, et cetera. And they told us, look, the supply chain is actually really perfected. It's almost like ordering Chinese food in some of these places. So yes, on our website, you can see a video, I think we still have it up, of how easy it is to deliver a gun into a prison. So yes, that is a vertical that is very interesting. We have one prison that we can talk about. Is the Suffolk County Prison in the state of New York. In Germany, we have a couple of customers in that vertical, and that's certainly picking up, and it's very obvious, I think. Another one is stadiums. The New York Mets is a reference installation, the Citi Field Stadium in New York. And the interesting case there is the intent to secure and detect drones was not so much to kind of fence off terroristic activity, which would have been probably the obvious one, but it was to protect top-line revenue. They have very extensive agreements with broadcasters and TV companies. And, people are using drones to fly into stadiums, hover above the game, and stream it live, because these drones are first flying very stable at, high wind velocity and speeds. And their camera systems are crazy awesome. So it makes a good use case for somebody to just watch the game and stream it live somewhere. And there, the analytics that we have after we install our system, and it was late April that we went live, is that within a month, we saw 45 drones coming in. So on average, we have an incident of 1.5 drones every day. And while people at their property have, seen randomly here and there drones.
Are you saying your whole network of distributed systems?
Exactly.
And 1.5 incidents per day.
Exactly. And I think it's important to say, look, you may see a drone above your house when you walk outside, but you won't see every drone, because you're going to be in the house, you're going to be away from your house, et cetera. And the same with, with enterprise property. So a lot of times security operations people can, with our system in place, now build a lot of know-how and analytics, and will then secondly be in a position to much, much more assess the risk, and then assess what are we going to perhaps do with third-party countermeasures. But first, detection is most important. And that's, I think, what that reference installation and analytics showed us. And the last one we're super proud of is something I think we haven't mentioned to anybody publicly, so it's going to be brand new here, is that we were commissioned by the Secret Service to protect the next president. Last week, Clinton and Trump had a debate at Hofstra University, and the Secret Service approached us and commissioned us to help protect that event. And
was there like, okay, if it goes to this side of the podium, the left side, just let it go a little further than you normally would. This side will go ahead and keep it backed off.
No. You know what? Actually, we were surveilling the airspace outside, not inside the building. But as you can imagine, they kind of like defined a perimeter even outside of the university to kind of see what's happening, and that's what we did there. We kind of protected that part. And again, look, these guys are making a tremendous effort to protect these VIPs, or in this particular case, our next president. So all of the investment that goes in there is toast if they are not taking into account also to protect against security threats coming from drones.
I think there's almost a guarantee that there was definitely at least 1.5 drone incidents around that. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that'll throw their drone up in the air to watch a lot more or less interesting things. I don't know. These debates are pretty entertaining. So,
yeah, I think again, we were big drone fans, but I think anybody when they open the box, they calibrate, they fly around. You are in awe at first about, wow, I can see myself from that view up there. I can go into places and have this amazing view. So I think it's psychology wise in deep and rooted in people that you want to do new stuff, right? So you want to fly somewhere where you haven't been physically before and take footage. So the case of espionage, whether it's privacy espionage, spying out high net worth, villas and buildings, There we have an extremely amazing example. I forgot about it.
So the one on your website, Olympics?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a crazy awesome one. So
hold on real quick.
Yeah.
Before we talk about that, can you share any cost information on this? Like roughly what is one of like the I mean, are you even able to? First of all, I don't want to put you too much on the spot because it sounds like it's a $1 million idea for sure.
Yeah, so let me dance around a bit without being too concrete, but at the same time give you guys a little bit of a hint. So there have been people before in the security business surveilling the air. It's military vendors, it's armies, it's guys, and these guys traditionally have come with big green trucks and radar systems, and they look out lots of miles and kilometers away, and those systems are very, very expensive. They're very based on proprietary systems and elements, and they involve labor, they involve personnel, checking out, constantly monitors, etc. So they are very, very, very expensive and
complex operations.
Exactly. We try to be very, very cost effective. That's why when we entered the market with our products, we based it on passive elements, not emitting frequencies ourselves. And there's, again, coming back, scalability is very easy installment. It runs automatically. It's not hazardous. And, it's off-the-shelf components we have in the drone tracker. So it's very, very handy. So coming back, you need to fit into budgetary requirements with a customer. And a prison will never probably, spend $5 to $10 million on this. But at the same time, the system holds up a lot of value, and there's a lot of things we've done to give a certain compelling proposition. So it has a price tag, but it's doable in today's world.
Cool, no problem. I was curious about that because it sounds. I mean, it's fascinating, really. I mean, this is shaping up to be probably one of the episodes where I've learned the most about a topic that I thought I knew a lot about.
Wow, thank you.
But no, this is great. So back to the Olympics.
Yes.
Rio.
Yeah, so we had several high net worth individuals from royal families approach us, and the one we can talk about is from the royal family of Qatar that has a summer residence in the hills of Rio de Janeiro. And they were requiring and requesting rogue drone intrusion protection, and we supplied that to them. It was a very, very fancy and amazing property they had. And
you guys do this, so you'll sell the solution, but you'll also do it as a service, or you also work with like contractors to deliver in like weird locations, I imagine.
Well, okay, let me be diplomatic with an answer, because I think there's one that is probably the long-term one, how it's going to evolve, and then the short-term one. I think as a startup, you need to be flexible and open, right? You need to answer to customer requests. You need to be quick and on your toes, and you can't expect the world to be perfect for you. So yes, our ambition, and this is probably the mid to long term, is that we go through partners, through value-added resellers. But at the same time, the market is very new, so we need to educate, we need to evangelize a lot, and these reference installations are very, very important to us. So that's why we follow both paths right now. And in the Rio example, we did actually go through a reseller. So somebody that is already having a relationship with that property owner and is selling telecommunication services, telepresence services, etc. And also their current security services like CCTV cameras and fences and everything. So we went through them.
So there is a lot of interest for this. It's safe to say.
It's amazing. It's coming from all sorts of parts of the world, and it's coming from any vertical. Because the pitch is, again, coming back, you have a fence, you have a lock at your house, right? So you've got something to protect. So with this new potential threat, you need to fill that threat if you think it is valid. And we see that a lot of people had drone incidences already, and demand is there.
What would you say as a company, what's been one of your big challenges? I mean, we talked about being a startup, needing to be very flexible and take opportunities as they come. Is there a specific type of adversity or challenge that you guys face often that's been difficult? I mean, the purpose of the question is, to help some of the listeners who may be thinking about getting into the drone or now, I guess, the security industries and get a little insight from a startup.
Yeah, I think the good thing about the business is that there is strong demand irrespective of how many drones are sold, right? In essence, because drones are in the market, whether it's 100 drones or 10 trillion drones, it doesn't matter. So we try to help people secure against this one bad guy. And people are concerned because there have been incidences. So in that matter, we are kind of in a lucky position that we are a bit disconnected from, let's say, studies and market forecasts. We can make a case, and our customers recognize that case, that with drone shipments increasing, which is phenomenal, and it's great for the industry and it's great for the ecosystem, but we're kind of a bit disconnected from that. So that part is kind of safe and sound for us. I think, though your question was, what are some of the challenges? Our customers are still not all up to speed on what the potential threat is. Some are still informing themselves. Some have read in the press about it. People might not have seen visually themselves the drone above their heads, but they've heard about companies in their peer group report incidences. So we deal a lot with still evangelizing the market, and that's certainly true for any startup, because startups tend to be early in the market and earlier than big companies, so they tend to need to go out and preach. But the good thing, it's still working for us on the revenue side, that we have people opening the wallet and wanting to have it today. The one thing I probably would say that I wish it was different, and even more so when I compare to previous startups that have been involved, is in the security environment, people tend to only speak behind closed doors. So making case studies and references and building marketing collateral is kind of a little bit hard sometimes, because people don't want to issue a PR saying, hey, we've had a drone incident, our data center was attacked and we had a downtime and that led to revenues being lost, etc. They tend to be very, very shy, which is, it's okay, it's security. But I wish sometimes we could be more articulate about our customer base, because it's much, much bigger than actually what you see on the website.
You guys have got some killer use cases already that we talked about, though. So the presidential debate, Rio Olympics, those are some pretty nice ones. Like I said earlier, going to the website and seeing all, utility companies. You might be a little bit miffed at the existence of a quote-unquote anti-drone company, but as soon as your electricity goes out at your home due to something, or maybe your office, obviously you're going to probably feel differently. And I think that the more drones popularize and the more drones are sold, the more demand there will be for Dedrone and companies similar to it. So that's super interesting, man.
Yes, we're excited. And again, this is not about taking drones necessarily down. It's about making it safer and allowing people that have made an investment in their security just extend that and be and feel in control, so that they can sleep better, and that they, it's an enterprise product that they can provide services to their customers in a much, much better way.
I think we can go ahead and end on that note. So, one last thing. I heard you guys are looking for interns, maybe?
Yes, we're growing and we love interns. We've made great experiences in our previous companies with interns. So anybody who is interested about the space and is excited about what we just spoke about, do hit us up and search for us on the web, whether it's our website, Twitter, Instagram, etc. And there's so much work waiting here. It's a totally international and amazing team. So we're hungry for people that feel the same way that we do and have the same passion about this.
Interns, bring it on. So you guys can follow Dedrone on Twitter at Dedrone, that's Dedrone, and Sebastian's on Twitter as well at Lebastif, that's Lebastif. And check out their website again. It's going to be kind of eye-opening if you haven't really researched this area of the industry too much. It's www.dedrone.com. So thanks so much, Sebastian. Thanks for having me here at your office. Thanks for joining us and teaching us a little bit about what Dedrone's doing to help keep the skies safe.
Awesome. Thanks for your interest. Amazing. Thanks.
Hopefully next year I'll see you at Oktoberfest.
Yes, come by.
Will do. Alrighty, everybody, fly safe. Cheers.